All right, sweethearts, what are you waiting for? Breakfast in bed? Another glorious day in Harmless Phosphorescence. Hello, everyone. This is your host, Thoreau Smiley, and I, too, have been mistaken for a man. Who's joining me this week?
I'm Josh DC, and I'm happy to disappoint you.
I'm Brian Leshin. Would somebody wake up Al?
I prefer the term artificial person myself. I'm Alaric Weber.
That always stood out to me. Like, oh, great, we programmed that in.
Yeah.
The ability to be offended. Just give us a human.
It has aged so well, though. It's perfect.
It really
Oh, yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And this is Harmless Phosphorescence. It's a deep dive movie podcast where we pick a theme or a series, we watch the movies, we gather some research into the production source material, then we tell you about it. The show's brought to you by patrons like executive producers Michael Beckwith and Atticus Burkett. You can be a patron too. Go to patreon.com/harmlessentertainment. We got a whole grip of shows up there, which you can't access on the main feed. Tons of different movies and music and even some TV stuff. Patreon.com/harmlessentertainment. Now, this week we are doing the second in our series. We did Alien a couple years back as a part of our Haunted Phosphorescence, and so we're not redoing that one. It has been reposted to the feed, so with a little disclaimer at the beginning. So that is our first in the Alien series. So this was a big period of time between the first and second movie as far as our episodes go. But this is
Just like in real life, kind of.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But
Real life.
yeah, in real life.
The fuck does that mean?
Yeah, who knows? So this week it is the second in our Alien series. We are watching Aliens.
More than one.
They should have stuck with that naming convention.
You know, that's what Jude said last night. They should have just added an S for everyone. So by the time you're Romulus, it sounds like a snake is saying it.
They were probably moments away from calling Alien 3 Aliens.
Just tell me one thing, Burke. You're going out there to destroy them, right? Not to study, not to bring back, but to wipe them out.
That's the plan.
All right, people, on the ready line. Are you me? Yeah! Are you me? Yeah! Are you? Get on the ready line, Marine! Get something to die! Get on the ready line! Get your light up here.
Keep back, don't scare her.
Movement! Talk to me, Hudson!
I got signals. I got readings in front and behind.
There's nothing back here.
Look, I'm telling you, there's something moving and it ain't us.
Get them out of there!
How could they cut the power, man? They're animals.
There's movement all over the place!
5 meters, man. 4.
Aliens. This time, it's war.
Ooh, this time.
This time it's a war. Not last time, but this time.
Fuck, that's a good trailer.
Yeah, it is.
That is a good trailer. That's exciting.
Just chaos, just people yelling, no plot.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, they don't even say, they don't even have the guy saying in a world.
Yeah, all you get is just tell me we're going to wipe them out. That's the plan. And then chaos.
Boom. Yeah. The effects looked good in the trailer too.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
The effects looked good watching the movie.
Yes, they did.
Oh,
they did.
this-
They're usually
oh
in
my
a
God.
trailer from that period.
Oh yeah.
Well, even if this was re-edited, but the footage, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
good trailer.
Yeah. It was Aliens was released July 18th, 1986. Has a running time of 137 minutes. It cost $18.5 million and it made $183 million at the box office. It was a
Bonafide.
big old hit. It was James Cameron's second film. Technically third if you count Piranha 2.
Yeah.
I count Piranha. Always.
I think he does too. I think that's how he got everywhere.
Well, yeah. He was
If Spielberg gets Jaws
Yeah.
and credibility.
Is this the first Cameron film we've done? Wow.
I believe so.
Yeah, there's not that many Cameron films, so it's easy to just think back.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is our first James Cameron movie. Okay, that's exciting. Because that dude.
Yeah, I can't. The other thing would be Crichton movies, and maybe if we did Avatar, because he's done Sphere, right? No, yeah, that was his.
No, not Sphere.
The Abyss.
Sphere.
Thank you.
Sphere was not.
Abyss is a good movie. Yeah,
Abyss is good. Yeah.
Actually, his movies are good. I just, the avatars are too much.
Yeah.
I enjoy them, but I don't like. I go see them each time, but I'm never in between. Like, yes, Avatar.
I will say this about Avatar: those movies aren't for people; they're for James Cameron.
Oh,
period.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
They are a masturbatory exercise in can I do this thing?
Absolutely.
Well, the thing is, I'll just say it now because but he really has latched on to the military-industrial complex view of the future, as opposed to say like a Roddenberry. Like we moved past.
Yeah.
He's all about. So basically, even in this, and especially in Avatar, this is Halliburton. Basically,
yes.
They take Marines and SEALs who have an aptitude for not giving a shit
We're so
train
old,
them
Josh.
into.
Halliburton hasn't existed for almost 20 years in that name.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how these guys would get hired. And so it's the same in Avatar. It's the same with the Terminator, and that's his vision. So I'm not knocking it, but he definitely leans into like the military took over and not much changed.
Well, and the military are the good guys in this.
Oh,
100% the good guys.
Well, they're
And
not
they're
the good
so-
guys in
that which-
Avatar.
They're not actually the good guys at all, but they are. We're always focusing on them at the.
Not. I mean, in
They're
Avatar, they're the
only-
villains.
But they're only
Yeah, I know.
bad in Avatar for the same reasons they're only bad in Alien, which is because the corporate interests are guiding them.
Yeah,
the
so
military,
industrial
Right,
is
complex.
neither good nor bad. They're a gun. It's the trigger man that gets you, I guess. is
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Carter broke. But
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, there's always lots of scenes with people talking about their weapons, putting their weapons together.
So, I think-
Terminator,
I think an
except
interest.
for Titanic.
No. Okay. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Okay. No. But even in Titanic, they take a minute to talk about the hardware of the ship.
Yeah.
But
that's true.
But
Very
okay.
fascinated by that kind of
I
thing.
think it's fascinating that each one of his films, even Titanic, is about a corporation fucking over other people. Because in Titanic, they take a lot of time to say, well, we didn't have enough boats. We didn't have enough lifeboats because it would have ruined it. The corporation decided to do that. Even Titanic, he has that theme.
Yeah, that's why the complex. It's not just the military.
Yeah.
Well, and it makes
Carter
it
Burke
easy
is the villain.
Mhm.
because you get a villain. You get a singular entity that's the villain instead of this
But my-
complex.
Right. You get a
You know.
guy that represents the evil corporate interest, which was
Yeah.
that's how you make a movie. Like it shouldn't be nebulous. There's a dude you can focus on and be like, oh, Paul Reiser.
Yeah.
Helen Hunt should never have married you.
Which
That's ancient
If you-
storytelling.
if you
Talking
did
about
not
Cameron's voice.
if you did not watch Mad About You, this shit is crazy. Just that people don't see Paul Reiser as the doting boyfriend to Helen Hunt, because that's all I see. I grew up on Mad About You.
I don't know that I watched much of the show, but of course I'm familiar with it. He was a stand-up that I don't know. I knew who he was throughout the 80s. He was one of those Seinfeld type safe comics.
This
Funny,
was-
but inoffensive.
This was definitely my introduction to him, but I came to know him as a stand-up shortly after this.
What is he? He was.
Diner was his
Another-
first big one.
No, I know, but there was another alien type. I feel like
Well, he was in
I
Beverly Hills
remember
Cop.
him in a lab coat early on. Yeah,
Oh.
of course he was in Beverly Hills.
Yeah, I
We
don't
can
know.
move on.
Yeah,
Or wait till
Yeah,
we
we'll
get
get
to
to-
cast.
yeah. So yeah, like I said, Aliens made a ton of money, so we're gonna play the box office top 10 game. This is the game where I will describe the top 10 movies of the week of July 18th, 1986, and the fellas here will try to guess what movie I am describing. Outside of the top 10 is interesting. We've got Psycho 3 at 13. Vamp at number 12, which that's a movie I like a lot. If anyone
Yeah,
is unfamiliar with, it's
looks cagey.
they get like two college guys go to a strip club and it turns out it's a vampire strip club. Great movie.
Yeah, from dusk till dawn.
yeah, it's that. It's basically that. And at number
Right.
11, Club Paradise. One of my
Excuse me.
favorite 80s comedies that I haven't watched since probably 1988, and I'm very afraid of revisiting.
No, you and I watched it in high school.
Did we?
At Talia's house.
Okay, that was probably the last time I watched it then.
Yeah, that was probably the last time I watched it. But yeah, I used to love it.
Yeah. And at number 10 for the week of July 18th, 1986, a detective investigates the kidnapping of a toy maker and uncovers its link to his archenemy, Professor Ratigan.
The Great Mouse Detective?
Yes, the Great Mouse Detective. Yep.
I love that movie.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Say the first line again. A doll maker.
Oh yeah, the
That's
kidnapping
long
of a
legs.
toy maker. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I always liked what was the other one with mice and Bob Hope, not Bob Hope, Bob Newhart.
The Rescuers.
The Rescuers.
The Rescuers Down Under is the one that actually really shines.
Yeah,
That's some early computer animation as well.
Yeah, both the Rescuers movies I loved a lot.
Same.
At number 9 this week, two streetwise Chicago cops have to shake off some rust after returning from a Key West vacation to pursue a drug dealer who nearly killed them in the past.
Oh, Running Scared?
Yeah, Running Scared. Good pull there,
Is that
Josh.
Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines?
Yeah.
Damn, I like that movie. That's a good movie.
I think I watched it once, and that was a very, very long time ago. At number 8 this week. Oh, this one. Okay. A New York district attorney works and flirts with his adversary and her kooky artist client who is on trial for a murder she didn't commit.
Is this Legal Eagles?
It is Legal Eagles, yes.
Oh shit!
Yeah, you spent this
I
week
was
in the
lucid
movies.
this year.
Yeah.
Oh, most of my childhood at the movies.
At number 7 this week, a popular high school student, admired by his peers, decides to skip school and goes to extreme lengths to pull it off.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Al slipped in.
Portrait of a Sociopath.
Yeah.
I
I'll
can't
flip
believe
this.
that was in '86.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I saw a take on the internet the other day. They were like, it's really about Cameron. It's like, well, no,
No,
it's not.
the entire universe is about Ferris.
Yeah. It's
literally.
It's a
They paint his name on the fucking water tank. It's not about
Right.
Cameron. I hate that theory.
Mhm.
Fuck that movie.
It's like, yes, Cameron
interpretation.
had more of an arc than Ferris did, but that doesn't mean the movie's about him.
Right, it was more grounded. Sure.
Sure. At number 6 this week, Chicago singles meet in a bar, live together, and call it love, based on a Mammoth play. Let's see. This movie stars.
I know this because I remember being surprised that it was Mammoth.
Yeah, this star Jim Belushi, great. Rob Lowe, Demi Moore.
Yeah. St. Elmo's.
No, not
not
St. Elmo's, but it's kind of like it's that kind of movie. It's about last night.
Oh, yeah. about last night. All right.
At number 5 this week.
I wonder if David Mamet was like talking on the set with people and was like, yeah, one day my daughter's going to be in Madam Web, so I'm not sweating it.
It's going to make $1 billion.
She's going to be able to buy a car with that money.
It's okay though, because she's only going to have 2 days of shooting. She's going to sit at a desk and only talk to one guy.
Like, here's what they would look like now. Just took the masks off.
Incredible.
Madam Web is fucked.
So
Madam
I was
Web's
so
insane.
I was so confused, thinking, how is Don Johnson's daughter related to David Mamet? Sorry, it took me a second to remember.
The guy in the
gal
chair.
in the chair, yeah.
At number 5 this week, to help his discouraged son get through college, a rich businessman decides to enter the school as a student himself.
Oh God!
Back to school.
Back to school.
Oh my! I want to do this with
Beautiful. Yes.
Yes.
Robert Downey
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
when he would play just that sort of,
Yeah.
when he would play Tony Stark, little Tony Stark.
Yeah. And Kurt Vonnegut.
Oh,
yeah,
my God.
and Sam Kinison. Oh my God!
That's right. Yeah. I
Where he's
forgot about
screaming at
Kinison.
him.
Yeah.
Dude, I would love to do that movie. That would be so much fun.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Our
That-
buddy
what was-
Dave, it was one of his favorites. So we would
What was
just
the
have
movie
it
that-
on a lot.
we were
DVD.
talking about recently with what's his face, the Godfather, weird reference with Ferris Bueller in it.
The Freshman.
The Freshman.
Oh, the
Freshman.
freshman.
I would love to
I
do
did.
that.
I said it
also.
right this time.
Not that they're the same, but that's in that same vein of school movies from before I was born. Just barely.
I think The Freshman was a 90s film. It was like 91, 92, somewhere in there, I think.
Yeah, it had to be after Ferris Bueller's Day Off. There wasn't that much time. Yeah, you're right.
It's funny that Rodney Dangerfield, because the behind the scenes on Caddyshack is just like everyone talking about how he had never done a movie before. He had no idea. He would talk to the camera. He would wait for applause
Yeah.
in between his lines. Yeah, nothing disruptive or dick. It's just like, wow, Rodney has never been recorded before. Like everything
It's
in his
crazy
life has
that-
been live.
Yeah, it's crazy that dude got famous in his 60s.
On film. Yeah.
But was a household name without having been in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it was a big get. Him and Ted Knight, but of course Ted Knight was an old school
Yeah.
actor. Rodney was a comic since the 50s, but yeah, they were.
Yeah,
he just had no idea what he would wait for pauses after lines that he knew were jokes, and they'd be like, "No, you keep going." You just keep going till we say cut. A young Harold Ramis and Doug Penny.
Yeah. I just imagine him being like, "Sorry, I'm just used to being on Carson, once a month."
I've spent my whole life looking at the audience.
I'm used to opening for Jackie
Yeah.
Mason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he owned his own comedy clubs, and he was no slouch.
No.
Which is a Caddyshack.
Yeah, no, not at
Don't be hard on yourself, Judge. You're a tremendous slouch.
all. At number 4 at the box office. A naval fighter weapons school is where the best of the best train to refine their elite flying skills.
Top Gun.
Top Gun.
Yep.
Yes, indeed. At number...
Oh, that's cool that it's cool that it came out the same time because the orange cat, obviously, Jones, is Goose.
Yeah.
In the Marvel universe, and Goose is named after Goose from Top Gun.
Yeah, huh.
It's all connected, man.
Fucking
Check out
Jones,
my
yeah.
Reddit.
At number 3 this week, a couple cheated by a vile businessman kidnaps his wife in retaliation, not knowing that their enemy is delighted that they did.
Oh, Down and Out in Beverly Hills?
No, but it is a Midler.
Ruthless People?
Ruthless People, yeah. DeVito and Midler.
I knew it was one of those.
Yeah.
They made some good. She made some good movies, Nate.
Yeah, she did.
I I saw those two movies together at the drive-in.
Down and Out in Beverly Hills and Ruthless People?
Yeah.
Nice. Down and Out in
That's
Beverly
very
Hills
nice.
is one I'd love to do sometime. That movie's
Yeah,
crazy.
I like that movie. It really
Nick
is.
Nolte feels at home
I don't
as
remember
a
that movie.
as a Nick Nolte feels at home playing a homeless guy.
Yeah, he's in his element.
Yeah, he's way too comfortable in that role.
He's been trying to return to that role ever since.
Yeah. Uh,
It is a wild character, though. Like
oh yeah,
choosing to off yourself in a millionaire's swimming pool,
yeah,
and then hijinks ensue.
yeah. They do. They really ensue. Number 2.
They just ensue all over the place.
At the highest of jinx. At number 2 this week. A student accompanies his mentor to his childhood home.
Karate Kid 2.
Karate Kid Part 2. Yes, indeed. A film which I think
European Vacation.
over the course of Cobra Kai was shown in its entirety via flashback.
Really? Oh, man.
Did they do the scene with the pop, 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 the little hand drum thing?
Oh, yeah.
In the flashback?
After like the 3rd season, I fell off that because I was like, God, I can't anymore with this.
Well, because the first season was supposed to be like perfect, right?
First
And
season,
then everything else after that, like, kind of just declined rapidly.
it jumped the shark real fast and just kept jumping it. More sharks jumping higher. By the time there was a
Ensuing.
full school-wide karate riot in high school, I was like, okay, guys.
I mean, everybody's seen a karate riot.
Hey, everybody was kung fu fighting, all right? That's all I've got to say.
Hey, what about that guy?
There was Funky China
He's not
Jam.
Wang. He was not Wang Chunging.
No.
That guy.
And opening at number 1. Decades after surviving the Nostromo incident, Ellen Ripley is sent out to reestablish contact with a terraforming colony, but finds herself battling the alien queen and her offspring. Aliens opened at number 1, and that is the box office top 10. I saw it in the theater with my dad.
Yeah,
I think it was the first R-rated film I saw in the theaters.
Nice.
Yeah. I also saw this before I saw Alien. So I had no idea what happened in Alien.
That happened a lot growing up.
I was, this is July? I was 9. I wasn't even 10 yet.
To this movie's credit, you don't really need to know what happened in the first movie
No.
to get it at all.
I was a
which
9-year-old watching it cold, and I got it all the context I needed from what's in the movie.
I was going to say, you don't even need the exposition that he quite, adeptly gives you. You can still grasp what's going on.
Yeah.
I got to see Katie see the first part of this for the first time yesterday, and just her reaction to like, oh my God, what are they talking about? What? And like, it was fun to see her putting it together because they give you just enough to get the cliff notes on that first movie.
Yeah.
And that Ripley is always right. God damn it.
Always right. Yeah. Jude did watch the first Alien, and so he just a few weeks ago actually, and so he was coming to this one fresh, and yeah.
Do you like it?
Yeah, he said they're both 10 out of 10s.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect movies.
Absolutely. Aliens. Let's get into the production of Aliens. So, after the first Alien movie...
No, just Alien.
Yeah.
His name was Doug.
Brandywine Productions, who made the first film, immediately wanted to make a sequel, but 20th Century Fox said no. Alan Ladd Jr., who was running it right when Alien was released, left Fox shortly afterwards, and his replacement, Norman Levy, said no, sequels to horror films are never make money.
I mean, At that point, he was right.
In
That's
19,
right,
in
but-
like 1980, yeah, sure.
Because I mean, like what? We've gotten like an Exorcist sequel. I'm trying to think
But
of
then
other
there was
horror
a
movie
boom
sequels
like
before this.
4 years later. If he had just
Yeah.
waited,
Yeah.
Wes Craven could have argued that point.
That's right. Yeah. Friday the 13th started to get
Even though
sequels.
even though he has, yeah. But anyways,
Yeah, but at this point, that's a salient point to make to decline a sequel. Like, nah, they never make money.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, then, additionally, Brandywine Productions sued Fox because Fox declared that Alien was a financial loss, despite earning over $100 million on an $11 million budget. Fucking Hollywood accounting.
Yeah, you know.
oh my God, imagine how pissed Ridley Scott must have been.
Yeah.
You know, just to hear that attitude well before this even got on the table, just to hear that, like, no, this was a failure. Like, are you shitting me?
Yeah. One of the greatest movies of all time.
I can't believe how long it took Ridley Scott to have his own production company, now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he had Scott Free, then there could have been Alien movies a lot earlier with him. Anyways.
Yeah, well, interestingly, he was never, ever once offered Alien 2 to direct. It never came up. Like,
know,
no one ever said,
studio property.
go ask Ridley.
It's good that he didn't.
Yeah, it's kind of good.
Yes, it worked
This is a
out
different-
best for everybody, I think.
Indeed.
So eventually that got settled in 1983, and part of the deal was that Fox would finance the development of Alien 2. So they started looking for a script writer, and Joe Wizen, who at that then was Fox's was the CEO of Fox at that point, the head of Fox. That's the third in as many years.
Yeah.
Found a script for Terminator. Terminator had not yet been made, and so he contacted James Cameron, who was at that point busy working on the script for Rambo, which is I had not realized that the screenplay for Rambo: First Blood Part 2 is credited to Sylvester Stallone and James Cameron.
Far out.
Yeah. And
He must have had something to do with it for Sly to give credit.
yeah, absolutely. So he asked for him to submit a treatment. He did. He submitted a 42-page treatment. And then at that point, he went off to make Terminator. So let's talk a little about James Cameron. James Cameron was a effects guy. He was an FX. He worked in FX, and he was working as an FX guy on Piranha 2 when the Piranha 2 director got fired.
Got eaten.
Yeah, got eaten by a piranha.
Many. That's how they get you.
Yeah. Piranha 2, of course, is a sequel to Piranha. Which was a 70s, like, it was a Jaws ripoff, basically. So when the director to Piranha 2 got fired, let's see. Well, okay.
They should have called it Piranhas.
Yeah.
Piranhas.
Yeah.
Piranha.
Yeah. It was being produced by Roger Corman. And James Cameron had done effects work on a bunch of Corman movies throughout the late 70s and early 80s. So basically, when the director got fired, they basically said, "Does anyone want to direct this?" And James Cameron said,
Awesome.
"I'll do it."
There's nothing more Corman than that.
Yeah.
Who's going to finish this?
Yeah, the first Piranha was written and directed by Joe Dante, but FYI.
Yep.
And
Corman.
And it was
Wow.
it was so the first Piranha was a parody of the like Jaws ripoff movies. It was a comedy. Piranha 2 was a straight ahead horror film or it lost the satirical edge. So after Piranha 2, James Cameron started getting a lot of work as a screenwriter. Like we said, he worked with Stallone on Rambo. He became kind of like a Hollywood like called James. He's good with a script.
And he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was able to get his own film made, Terminator, because it had a very low budget. And let's see, what did it cost? It cost, the first Terminator cost $6 million in 1984. And it
wow.
it made almost $100 million. So after Terminator was a big success, the guys at Fox said, well, let's get James to direct this. And James Cameron insisted on bringing in his then girlfriend, Gail Ann Hurd, to be a producer. This is a long history of James Cameron dating like powerful industry women and working with them. Yeah.
Oh, working with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And working with them.
Well, and
people
then
don't
getting
realize...
divorced and having it inspire the production of his film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We were talking about Abyss earlier, and that's all I think of with that movie is him just working through some shit.
Yeah.
With his cast.
And what was the director? What is her name? We talked about her. She directed Point Break.
Bigelow.
Yes, Catherine Bigelow was.
She did
his wife.
Hurt Locker
for a while,
yeah.
and yeah.
It's funny those pairings don't get talked about a lot, but like Martin Scorsese has had the same woman edit his films like since the get-go. Yeah. So she has as much to do with the Scorsese aesthetic as anything.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's just interesting when you find that out.
Mm-hmm. So James Cameron had to convince Sigourney Weaver to come back on. She agreed. Finally.
He couldn't use his pitch that he gave the executives with the $ through the S.
Right. Yeah, let's talk about that. So this is a possibly apocryphal story. It's where when he was pitching his story for Alien 2, he went in and on a chalkboard wrote Alien, and then after the N wrote a $ for aliens.
That's their language.
Yep. Sigourney Weaver said she really needed to know that her character was going to be treated right. James Cameron assured her that her character would be treated right, and she was soothed by receiving $1 million as the highest. That's the highest quote that any actress had ever gotten in history at that point.
Wild. I'm sure she watched Terminator and was like, okay, this dude backs strong women. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. There are no damsels in distress. And funny in this one that she's referred to Snow White.
And Weaver had to be assured that they were going to destroy them.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. Otherwise, she wouldn't do it.
Like,
she
please
wouldn't
don't
even
make
get
me
on
do a
this
third
ship.
one of these.
So you may be shocked to hear that there was some conflict between James Cameron and the cast and crew in making this film. James Cameron, famously a easygoing, cool guy to work around. At one point, the crew quit. The entire crew. They filmed this in Pinewood, in London, the famous Pinewood Studios. The entire crew quit because James Cameron. Someone very diplomatically said that the English crew was perhaps more laid back and easygoing than the American crews that James was used to working with.
Yeah, unions first.
Yeah. So eventually, they worked it out, of course. Let's see. James Cameron said he did have issues with his cinematographer, who he fired, who insisted that he knew better than James Cameron as far as setting up and lighting. And kind of dismissed him as an inexperienced director.
But I mean, lighting is what drives these movies, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of the horror is that it's just right there in that shadow.
Yes.
Right before the light meets
the lighting
shadow.
in this film is incredible. The
Yeah.
use of shadows.
If you're going to use tubes.
Yes. How everything's like red or blue. Everything looks great.
Or black and gray.
Yes.
When it needs to be.
Yeah.
Which is Ugh.
But yeah, I mean, look at these creatures are so shiny and black that if it was just, I don't know, lighting does a lot. They're already grotesque aliens, but if it was just standing, like the Predator is always just out in the daylight, just like, look at me, look at my dreads.
And this movie didn't shy away from showing the alien.
Mm-hmm.
No,
you know,
no, that's not what I mean necessarily. Like,
but I mean,
the use of shadows is so important.
But in order to show the alien, you've really got to think through like what it's gonna feel like for us. And god damn, there are so many times where a poorly lit scene, you would have just seen neoprene foam, shiny, you know, things.
People, yeah,
makes me think of in the first one where you get Dallas getting the big hand, spooky that jump scare.
Yeah.
Which, if you pause it, is hilarious.
I just see firing a cinematographer on a particular, movie like this. Like, if we're not jiving, it's like on a Kubrick film.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, this is how I want it lit. Well, I think it would be bad. No,
Yeah.
Shh. This is how I want it lit.
So even at the end, James and the crew did not get along, even though they managed to make it through filming. And his goodbye to the crew, at the wrap party, he said, quote, "This has been a long and difficult shoot, fraught by many problems, but the one thing that kept me going through it all was the certain knowledge that one day I would drive out the gates of Pinewood and never come back, and that you sorry bastards would still be here."
Oh, that was his Golden Globe acceptance speech.
Bill Paxton is what came to the defense of the crew and said they were great, their work was impeccable. He's the one that said that perhaps they were just more relaxed than James was used to working with.
It's easy for an actor to say.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
They were all nice to me. I bet they were, George Clooney or whoever. I bet
they were. So interestingly, the power plant where the nest was filmed at the same power station where Axis Chemicals was filmed in Batman. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I read that too, and when they showed up to film Batman there, the alien nest was still in the building.
Oh, they had to. I mean, you can't get rid of those things. We've seen through several movies. They're hard.
Once they're in your foundation.
Yeah.
You're
they're worse than termites.
Yeah. They were still there, just slithering around while Jack Nicholson gets his makeup touched up.
This was the first film that James Horner scored for James Cameron. They continued to work together at every movie afterwards, basically.
It's an awesome score.
Yeah. Oh, the end where it's going dun 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 has been used in every fucking trailer since then for an action movie.
Dun dun.
Yep.
Bum bum. Yeah.
There's something about the Alien movies really changing the way the trailers are made. Because Prometheus did the same thing with that bwah sound.
Yeah. I mean, the first bwah was
I think
Inception.
I thought it was before the Inception one that they used it.
Prometheus came out after Inception.
Oh, that's
quite
true.
a bit.
It did. Yeah.
by a number of years. But no, Inception was the first time I heard the bois.
The sousaphone timpani thing.
I watched Inception with Jude, and he was like, meh. I was like, no, but you don't understand. At the time, we hadn't heard bois yet.
That movie's so dumb. Sorry.
So dumb. Let's see. They recorded the score at Abbey Road with the London Symphony Orchestra.
Nice.
Yeah. Our cast, of course, Sigourney Weaver was is back as Ellen Ripley. We've got Michael Biehn as Hicks. Michael Biehn was Kyle Reese in The Terminator. James Cameron brought him on over with him. He would also be in The Abyss. Later on, he'd be
we're all in The Abyss.
Yeah. Yeah, we are. Later on, he was in The Seventh Sign, Tombstone. He continued to play like fourth lead in a bunch of stuff. And he was Lang in the second season of The Mandalorian.
Yeah, he was. That was fun to see him back too.
Yeah.
Kind of doing the same thing, being the capable third.
Yeah.
For the bad guy, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And he was apparently in the 11th season of The Walking Dead. Oh, that was a goddamn show.
Was he? Wait, is he the
I don't
old
know.
man?
I stopped after.
I don't know.
I stopped in the 4th season. I have no idea.
I think he might be the old man who runs the special ops group with Wolverine's girlfriend from the Wolverine movie.
Jesus Christ. That just sounds convoluted.
Yeah, by the end it gets real bad.
I don't know. He was only in one episode. I don't remember who he was.
As we said, Paul Reiser stars as Burke. I mean, probably best known for Mad About You, but he was a stand-up guy throughout the 80s, like in the Seinfeld, Gary Shandling kind of mold. His
most recently the legend in The Boys.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He's awesome.
His first film was Diner. His second film was Beverly Hills Cop. His most recent film was Beverly Hills Cop Axel F, a movie I haven't watched yet that I keep forgetting exists.
I know.
Same.
I'm gonna watch it
because it's a Netflix. I don't know those. Anyways,
Stranger Things he was in.
Yes, Stranger Things. Also the Kaminsky
That's
Method.
right.
He's one of those dudes that took time off to raise his kids, and they're growed, and so he's back to working. I mean, that's from his own mouth.
Yeah. I guess he's less upfront than like the Rick Moranis.
Yeah. Bill.
Well, I would say he's nowhere near Rick Moranis' league. But...
Yeah, I agree with that. But I mean, Rick Moranis is known for having stepped away.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see what you mean. Yes, of course.
Yeah. Bill Paxton as Hudson. Bill Paxton. Have we not done a Bill Paxton movie?
He's been in all kinds
Pax
of
Americana. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know that we've done one on this show. Although,
we never did Terminator.
No, we haven't done Terminator.
He's fantastic in the first
Predator.
4 seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Not that that's
that's right.
But that's comic book adjacent.
Yeah. Edge of Tomorrow, Nightcrawler. We haven't done any of those. But yeah, Paxton. He's Bill Paxton.
Weird Science was, at least when I was
Chet.
younger. I was
Yes, Chet.
Yeah.
turns him into a pile of shit.
Oh God, yeah.
This is gonna ruin Christmas.
Such a fun actor to watch, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
he is.
fun.
he always
really
came to work.
He amps up the anxiety in a scene just with his frenetic, oh my God, man, fuck, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But arguably, every time he's on set, he's just mellow. He's the dude.
Yeah, he's like a really cool, chill guy.
I had the Mad magazine that had the parody of Aliens in it. And the strongest memory I have of that, because I haven't looked at it, I haven't it's gone. It's been gone for decades.
Sure.
But was that the Bill Paxton Hudson character had the head of a chicken. And it was just always squawking.
It's funny that he can do that panicky sort of cowardly thing, but then still be kind of a tough guy hero at the same time.
Well,
It's dynamic. He's not just the
yeah.
If he was just that, you wouldn't be able to tolerate him.
It's bravery in the face of great fear, which makes him compelling. Instead of just
that's bravery,
falling
right?
apart. Yeah. Yeah.
Like you should be afraid.
And Indiana Jones is unrealistic. That's a sociopath,
Yeah.
who's just heroic while having bullets whizzing past him. Like, all right, just talking to people. Like,
yeah.
Real Indiana Jones would be
boulder.
like, fuck, I need to go back to Chicago, man. I need to get the fuck out of the Middle East. This is terrifying.
This needs to go where sixth graders on a field trip can stare at it listlessly. I'm going to risk my life. Yeah, you're right.
It would behoove us to mention, of course, he was the lead in Twister. He was the 90s Glenn Powell.
And Helen Hunt, right?
Yeah. Oh, with Helen Hunt. Yeah, Paul Reiser from Mad About You. It's all coming back around.
There's always been about 100 people in Hollywood.
Yes. He was, prior to making it as an actor, in a new wave band called Martini Ranch, which was produced by Devo member Bob Casale.
Huh.
Weird.
I know a Martini Ranch.
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm just glad they didn't go with
Adam.
Ranch Martini, because that, ugh.
Yeah, I've had a few of those.
They
Dip in your chicken wing.
Yep. No, that's the garnish on it. Attendee. No, a dinosaur nugget. Sorry.
Oh,
and you put it so that it looks like it's standing on the ground.
I kind of want to make that drink with like
I know, just
like a Bloody Mary with a chicken nugget on the side.
The bartender who has to constantly be toasting chicken nuggets. Just in case.
Martini Ranch played over the end credits of Brain Dead.
I don't know any of that.
Brain Dead? Oh, the 1990 movie? It's a cult movie. Bill Paxton was in it, so I guess that makes sense. Bill Paxton, of course, we lost him in 2017.
Damn.
Carrie Hine played Newt. This is her only screen role. She went on to be a teacher.
She was fine.
Yeah.
First child actors go.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, to the energy of a panicky, scared kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
She delivers the most comical line in almost any movie without any irony. They mostly come at night. Mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
But that could have just. Yeah. Never mind. Yeah. She does it. She's a pretty good kid actor.
She was nice. I liked her little affirmatives. Like she did good.
Affirmative. God, so cute.
William Hope is Gorman. William Hope was also in Alien vs. Predator.
Playing Gorman?
Who did he play in AVP? In AVP.
AVP. And the time to enroll is now.
Let's see.
This sounds like that.
AVP was more contemporary, right? It was closer to.
AVP was in 2004, and it took place in the near future in Antarctica. I don't remember what year, but I don't think he played himself. Or I don't think he played Gorman. I'm not seeing who he played.
Maybe just a cameo as like a cop or something, because that was the one that was in like. Oh no, that's the one that's in the Arctic. I don't
one
know.
of those. I was gonna say one of those Antarctic beat cops.
Yeah. One of the guys who wandered off
Nothing to see here,
McMurdo.
laddie. Just swinging his truncheon, just. Oh, what are you looking at there, laddie? Oh, you got yourself an alien.
Yeah. So.
And that in itself is a predator.
Rico Ross played Frost. Frost. Yeah, Frost.
Brad,
Yeah.
Reed, Ross.
Let's see. Rico Ross. He was in Spies Like Us. That's nice. Yeah, I don't know. He played a lot of lieutenants and people with like just the last name Broughton, Buckley, Lennox. So,
Yeah, last names.
So Private Vasquez was played by Jeanette Goldstein. Yes.
Ding, man, for real.
And I'm sorry to say, I learned in researching this, brown face. Literal brown face.
Wow.
Yeah. Which is crazy that one of the most iconic Latina characters in an action movie is a white lady.
She is a redheaded Jewish lady. Yes.
Yep.
She was also she played the adopted mom in T2, the one that got turned into the Terminator and did the like long finger thing, and yeah. Mm-hmm. She was also the sad Irish mom who was comforting the kids in Titanic.
There's just one on that.
The one that's like holding the kids as they're sinking in the bed, and like, it's okay, we're gonna die. Don't worry about it.
It's fine.
Yeah.
We were meant to.
Yeah, we're Irish. Oh, she was in Star Trek Generations. She played a science officer. And she was also in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
I think she had a cameo in Titanic.
I just mentioned that. She was the Irish mom in Titanic.
Sorry.
It's okay.
That's why I was laughing that there was one Irish mom.
Yeah.
Freaking out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fire steerage.
Let's see. I think that covers most of the cast. I'm not going to go through all of the Marines.
Which was the one from Shawshank?
Oh,
he had the stuff dangling from his...
Yeah, Mark Rolston.
Yeah, he was the gay rapist.
Yes, he was. He was.
He was the Irish mother. In
Shawshank, comforting his children.
I don't know how you got sent here.
This seems like a weird place for a 6-year-old Irish kid to end up. Yes, and Lance
raising a family. Sorry,
Lance Henriksen as Bishop. Lance Henriksen.
Yeah, gotta mention him.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. He was in Millennium. I forgot about that. That was the X-Files spinoff.
Yeah, man, he's a character actor hero.
Mm-hmm.
Forgot about that.
He went on to in Alien vs. Predator. He also played Charles Wayland of Wayland-Yutani fame.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, which is so the retconning is that's why Bishop looks like that, because they modeled him after the corporate overlord that founded the company.
Or the child of the original Wayland that we see in Prometheus, right?
Yeah, I'd assume.
He would be the second. Well, I guess maybe not, because he didn't have a son. He only had Vickers. We'll get there in Prometheus.
Yeah. Yeah, Lance Henriksen, long storied career. Like The Right Stuff, Color of Night. Scream 3.
Oh yeah, I loved him in Scream 3 as the exact.
Quick and the Dead.
Oh yeah.
Quick and the Dead. Yes.
There's just so much. He's still kicking around.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
He actually, this was like his first breakout. He was actually considering quitting the business if this movie didn't work out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Think of what we wouldn't have had.
Yeah.
Think of all the roles William Hurt might have had.
Oh shit! He was King Bowser in Super Mario Brothers.
Wow.
Yes. Newest one?
I mean, he was in Network, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Dog Day Afternoon. His first film role was in 1961 in The Outsider when he was 19. So
yeah, man.
He's been dude's worked.
It's like James Remar and a lot, just Joey Pants, just those character actors who know. We have a few now. The Walton Gogginses, the Sam Rockwells.
Yeah, absolutely. He has 4 movies that are currently in production or post-production that are going to be coming out. Dude, it's like, you know what I like? I like to get paid for doing acting. Let's do that a lot.
Yeah, I love that. I love that about Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, hell yeah.
It's my job.
IMDb is only showing me 2. I'm not doubting you, but the 2 that they show, in one he's playing a pastor, and in the other he's playing a deacon.
Yes. Yeah.
He goes to cons and still.
He plays Deacon Tom in 1, Pastor Jesse Davidson in a movie called 1. And then also Dr. Bradford Weeks in something called Acre Beyond the Rye. Oh, and one of them is, I don't know if this is a documentary or not, but the 4th film is called Bring Me the Head of Lance Henriksen, in which he's credited as Lance.
Huh.
I don't know if it's like a Being John Malkovich kind of thing or if it's a documentary.
Oh
Yeah,
my
or like
God.
a Polly Shore is Dead kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That was actually a fun movie, yeah.
Yeah, so this was a big hit. The effects were done in-house. It wasn't like ILM or anything.
I mean, the effects guys got top billing.
Mm-hmm.
You rarely see them in the titles of a movie.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
That was something that I pointed out to Katie because she was like, I just want to see the design of it. And I was like, well, this is how important that shit is to this movie. Those are the names you see up front.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, everything for like the loaders, it all still looks so good.
It really does. None of it seemed like like some of the Total Recall, Running Man, things like that. Which I know they're different caliber, but
the thing that
this
surprised
looked
me
good all the
most
way through
about this movie was not visual. I had never watched this movie intently with headphones on. There are sound design elements in this movie that I don't agree with. It's really interesting how heavy-handed sound design was in this movie. Yeah, and we'll get there, but yeah, a lot of the what's it called? The face hugger sounds are overdone, I thought.
Interesting. The head of effects was Stan Winston, who is, obviously a legendary effects guy. This film has 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, both critic and audience score. And it was reviewed by Siskel and Ebert.
Our next movie is named Aliens, and I suppose it's technically a sequel to Alien, that very good science fiction thriller from back in 1979. But this movie stands alone, however, as a self-contained story, and in some ways it's probably better than the original. It has wall-to-wall action and a lot more scenes involving those unspeakably horrible aliens with all their rows of sharp little teeth and their habit of using human beings as incubators. The movie stars Sigourney Weaver as the only survivor of the original expedition which discovered those aliens, and now she's joined another expedition which is returning to the planet where they were found.
You never said anything about an android being on board. Why not?
It never occurred to me. It's common practice. We always have a synthetic on board.
I prefer the term artificial person myself. Is there a problem?
I'm sorry. I don't know why I didn't even... Ripley's last trip out, the artificial person malfunctioned.
Malfunctioned?
There were problems, and a few deaths were involved.
I'm shocked. Was it an older model?
Yeah, the Hyperdyne Systems 128-2.
Well, that explains it, and the A2s always were a bit twitchy.
The android turns out to be more human than the humans, kind of like Mr. Spock on Star Trek. The group leader, on the other hand, is an inexperienced greenhorn, and Weaver takes over after patrol gets into trouble.
Didn't fall back.
Just cut off! Dude, cut things!
Come on, keep moving, baby.
Hold on, Newt.
Ripley, what the hell are you doing?
extraterrestrials are deadly, but they're not. To a patrol that's on the human camp on that planet, and she finds out the extraterrestrials are deadly, but they're not invincible. She gets a briefing on some weapons to stop them.
We got 15 of these M40 grenades. Don't touch that. Dangerous, honey.
The only flamethrower?
Yeah, it's only half full, but it's functional. Had another one damaged. I don't know about that one.
How long after we're declared overdue can we expect a rescue?
17 days.
17 days? Hey, man, I don't want to rain on your parade. We're not going to last 17 hours. Those things are going to come in here just like they did before, and they're going to come in here, and they're going to come in here, and they're going to get us.
This little girl survived longer than that with no weapons and no training. Right?
I like Sigourney Weaver. I like her in this movie. I like her in almost everything she's done. But you may have noticed that you didn't see any of the actual aliens in those scenes that we showed you. I think the movie company is trying to keep the aliens a secret until you see the movie, or maybe they're afraid that the aliens are such a turnoff that if you do see them, you won't go to the movie. And that sort of leads into my kind of two-sided review of this film. This is one of those on the one hand and on the other hand movies. On the one hand, it's very well made. Sigourney Weaver does a terrific, very strong acting job. She holds the movie together with a powerful performance. The special effects are outstanding. The movie is scary and horrifying and disgusting from one end to the other, and I have nothing but admiration for its craftsmanship. But on the other hand, and this is a big but, at the end of the movie, you know what? I felt really bad. My stomach was all knotted up, and I was jumpy and unhappy and tense, and it took me a while to get back to normal again. Aliens was so strong it was overkill. It really did upset me. So as a movie critic, I'm giving the movie thumbs up. I think it's a good thriller. But if I were talking to a friend, I think I'd say, hey, I'm not sure you want to see this movie. You know, what kind of a mood are you in?
And I will use you and everyone listening to me as a good friend and say, hey, I think you want to see this movie.
Really?
Yes, for the following reasons. I think the key word in your review was overkill. This is pretty much wall to wall. The monsters are on the attack. And once we see the first monster, from that point out, you got an hour or more of monsters on attack. Mm-hmm. And that was about probably a half an hour too much for me. And I have another objection. This is one of long-standing. I think one of the cheapest shots you can do in a movie is show a child in peril. Mm-hmm. A kid in front of the street and will the car run them down. When I see a movie do that, I check out of that picture because I think they're taking the easy way out. And I know that the kid, unless it's one of these comedy splatter films or something, the kid is not going to get nailed, so it held no suspense for me. And this movie holds that little girl that we saw in the last scene in peril for quite a long time. She's probably in peril for 15 minutes of the movie. And I was saying, who needs the grief? I don't want to see the little girl grab.
I know your point about using the little kids. I'll defend it to this degree. In all the alien movies, there is always that question, who is with us and who's against us? Because these aliens go inside of you and they incubate in here and then they pop out. And, of course, since that little girl was alone on that planet for a long time before this group arrived, there is the question, is she a real little girl or does she have one of those things inside of her? And I was waiting for that bomb to go off. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say if it does go off or not, but it seemed to me that they were using her innocence as...
Well, maybe
thriller technique.
Yeah, and all I'm telling you is I saw her in pain, and I was in pain. I am on your other.
Okay, well then what about the other? What about Sigourney Weaver? What about the craftsmanship? It's one of those movies that you have to admire at some level.
I'll admire it only at this level. Good art direction. Sigourney Weaver has to hold the movie up alone, and she's not equal to it because there are so many monsters.
Oh, I think she is equal to it. I will give her that. Yes,
Coming up next, we have a disagreement. Coming up next, two Chinese families see the real magnitude of the Great Wall of China.
Okay.
Wow.
That was...
I did not expect any of that.
Once again, Gene wanted it to be called Humans. He's complaining about the very conceit of the movie. The last hour was monsters.
And the kid thing is fair. Like dangling a kid is kind of bait, for us to be shocked or whatever.
It is, but
at the same time, it is character development for Ripley. And we get the reveal partway through the movie that she had a kid.
This movie is about motherhood.
Yes.
There's an alien mother. There's a human mother. It's mom against mom.
It's funny that they can't talk about the climax, but that's the climax of the movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And Ripley points it out, like, this little girl survived.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the rallying, like, well, she made it this long.
Yeah.
That's important. It's just one line, but that's important to legitimize that device, the device of the kid.
Well, and outside of survival, it gives Ripley a personal stake because it's in a deleted scene, but her daughter died, and this is her new surrogate daughter, so she's going to fiercely protect Newt as
someone who is common cause with her too, someone who's experienced the same terrifying shit. Finally, someone understands the alien.
You're right. She's there for a totally different reason, and she has no personal stake. She wants to nuke the entire fucking place.
Yeah.
Why are we even going to look around?
Yeah, we should nuke it from orbit. Be done with it.
Yes.
Only way to be sure.
It doesn't give Ripley any more humanity because she already has, the most humanity. But yeah, gives her something to fight for.
Yeah, it gives her
It wasn't cheesy. It's been cheesy.
I think it was very good, and it reinforces the main theme of the film, which is motherhood. Weirdly,
motherhood. Yeah,
yeah,
which is a bold ass choice for a theme in a sci-fi action horror movie.
Yeah, I mean, James Cameron isn't always a subtle filmmaker, to put it lightly.
It's so weird that he thought that Sigourney Weaver didn't live up to the movie's demands. It's like he didn't see the last 20 minutes of the movie.
I don't know
what
Gene
if you go
about
piss
film.
During the finale of this movie, yeah, it's crazy that she just left that baby to die or whatever. Like,
I as soon as the movie ended, because it comes so quickly in the spoilers for Alien 3.
Oh yeah,
but
rolls credits. Yeah,
it comes so quickly. I was like, so FYI, Jude, Alien 3 is a movie which kills off everyone but Sigourney Weaver within moments
for no reason.
Yeah, man, get down to the meat. I guess.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and we'll get there, I think, with Alien 3, but it's worth it to
a bad call.
Clean the outside of the ship off before you go to sleep, I guess.
Yeah. So that's about it for the background, guys. Are you ready to jump?
I just want to say, because he's become sort of a hero of ours, that even though it was just on a computer screen, we got a Yaphet Kotto cameo.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Harry Dean Stanton as well, but for some reason, Kotto hasn't been around our orbit.
Yaphet Kotto, man. So, all right, you ready to jump into the movie?
We're on an express elevator to hell.
Yes, we are.
Here we go. This is Aliens. We open on space, the place where no one can hear you scream.
Or fart.
That's unless you're a sound designer.
Yeah.
A ship floats aimlessly, then gets picked up by a larger ship. We see Ripley asleep in a cryopod. A group of salvagers.
They even refer to it as Snow White later on. I think Alvarez does or whatever, but it's a very Snow White thing, just like scraping away the ice, and they see her just pristinely sleeping.
Yeah. With her cat.
Yep. The cat has not been asleep like a real cat.
Yeah.
I've been knocking shit off. This whole shit.
Yeah.
Shelves.
I keep coming and going from the cryopod. How I get in and out, you will not know.
You will not know. I will just reappear.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you I figured out the latch.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not showing the dog.
Definitely not. The dog can go fuck itself.
It can go fuck itself. Sycophantic little.
We've got a little cat house like in a hallway, and she'll just sit inside there, and the dog will like go walking by, and she'll just reach out and just like whack every time the dog goes by.
Yeah, my oldest dog has been around a cat but the little ones would have no idea what to do. They would just be
like, what is this terror?
What is this thing? That's making me feel socially awkward, even though I'm a dog.
So Ripley is asleep. We cut to a space station above Earth. She wakes up in a hospital bed, meets Burke, who works for the company. She gets reunited with Jonesy, our orange little dummy. She learns that she's been in stasis for 57 years.
Yeah.
And she's like,
that's so brutal.
It is. And they're like, the worst part is the Winds of Winter still isn't done.
Like, you guys are still wearing business suits in space? Okay.
Yeah, it's funny that there's the style where like the collar like goes up on the business suits.
Yeah. So much smoking.
That was so big in the 80s. So like people still wear business suits, but they're a little different.
They're a little different, but they still have meetings. Everything is still very much the same.
Yeah.
Despite the obvious advancements around us.
Yeah.
Like, you got to work for money. No, I don't. Then I hop in my spaceship and I'm like,
see you later, losers.
Yeah, catch you nerds later while you have business meetings.
She starts.
That was my Jetson car sound. Sorry.
She starts to freak out, and an alien bursts out of her chest. Then she wakes up. It was just a nightmare.
What a nightmare, though. Imagine seeing this. Well, you saw this in theaters. I just imagine not knowing. Like, oh, shit, they're going to kill her in the first scene?
Yeah.
And it was before that was done constantly. Like, not that the story was a dream. Obviously, that had been done. But the false jump scare, that wasn't as much of a trope as it is now. So I bet it was a little rattling. I think I saw it in the theater, but I don't remember that particular moment.
Yeah. It's so interesting that you don't know where it's a dream and where it's not in this scene for this first part. Like, because obviously she really meant Burke, but like when was it like? But the alien didn't really burst out of her, so yeah.
Magic.
Yeah, we cut to a meeting of her with the Weyland-Yutani Corporation, bunch of business dudes who are.
And one lady.
Yeah, one lady who's like.
It was a swinging dick herself.
Yeah, it was like, listen, lady, you may have seen.
Well, I love it because it's like, it's Weyland-Yutani's liability legal department.
Yeah.
They're like, this is all your fault, right? Correct? That you did blow up the ship
57 years ago? Why are you all on old shit?
Yeah, but also like what? Yeah, but 100%. What's his face? The android was told by Weyland-Yutani to bring back an alien.
So yeah, I just, since we're getting to the Weyland-Yutani corporate structure thing, I think that they're compartmentalized. I don't think that anybody knows what's going on at this table. I don't think that any of them knew.
Yeah.
I think that department of Weyland-Yutani is very much like cordoned off under a couple of layers of security. But her saying this at an open meeting makes it an open secret. Then.
And you just needed an evil board meeting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. And they can't acknowledge that it's true because then Weyland-Yutani becomes liable for their losses.
Yeah.
And you can't have a corporation be liable for its own losses.
Nope.
Yeah. How are they supposed to continue existing after being found liable for one thing?
That's right. She learns during this meeting that the moon where they found the alien ship is now the site of a terraforming colony.
Yeah.
Are
you shitting me?
They call it Shake and Bake, a product which will continue to be just as popular as it was in 1986.
Oh, Homer, you love Shake and Bake. You used to put it in your coffee.
I don't think Shake and... Does Shake and Bake even still exist? I think so.
I think so.
I guess Hamburger Helper does too, so, you know.
I think they're like a Kellogg's product or something.
Or people still have to eat.
Yeah, sure.
We gotta pour something in our ground beef and noodles. Yeah.
So, I don't know why they call it Hamburger Helper. It's just fine all by itself.
Nothing but the best, Clark.
Later, Ripley holds a cigarette and then gets visited by Burke and Lieutenant Gorman.
Well, and that's the only time we see Ripley smoke.
Yeah, there was a lot of smoking in the first one.
In movies full of people that smoke, this is the only time we see her smoke, and it's because she is rattled.
Mm-hmm.
Nightmares every night, cold sweats, all that.
Yeah. He tells her, Burke tells her they've lost contact with the colony. He wants Ripley to go and investigate it along with the Marines. They tell her they'll reinstate her as a flight officer. She goes, currently she's working as a loader down on the cargo docks. Paul Reiser says there's nothing wrong with that in a way which really insinuates there's something wrong with that.
The timing of this is not clear. Like how long since the meeting to them saying we've lost contact with the colony, but it's been more than a few weeks because she's securely in her job.
And she's living in I agree with you. It was a little confusing because I thought she was still in like medical quarters. And I'm like, what is this? They don't even sweep the hallways and there's graffiti on the wall. And then it's like,
it's like a dorm.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're oil field workers and shit like that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't necessarily clear until Burke said that.
But yeah, she's been working. She's been going to a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
They've established a professional relationship.
It could be weeks or months later. We're not sure.
Yeah, it doesn't affect anything, but it's fine.
Because it'd been 20 years of colony existing, no alien contact. Ripley makes this comment, and then they've lost contact with the colony.
So and we later on find out that Burke told the colonists to go investigate the ship, which he learned about from Ripley, which is why they've lost contact with the colony.
Which he's not really functioning under Weyland-Yutani instruction. He's the ambition of a yuppie, I guess, is what they're kind of trying
He's
to
definitely the yuppies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Imagine being the guy in charge of this secret department at Weyland-Yutani and you find out, wait, you found a fucking colony? Wait, and you fucking shook the hornet's nest? Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
We have to clean this whole thing up. Like, I'm sure some spooky dude at Weyland-Yutani is so pissed after this movie ends.
Yeah. Yeah. So she finally agrees to go with him on the condition that they exterminate the aliens, not study them or bring them back.
Exterminate.
We cut to another ship in space. They're arriving on the, not the moon, but the moon on which the colony is. Everyone wakes up and we meet the Marines. There's
I'm sorry to go back to the board meeting just briefly. Like, I love the incredulity. Like, there are 300 species that we've logged. So that's all there is.
Yeah, exactly. In all of space.
You're telling me about some alien that we don't know about?
Impossible.
Well,
so they
and interesting that there is life in the universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these people still go to board meetings and like smoke Marlboros and shit. I don't know. Like, when is the Greater Awakening?
Right. Well, it seems like it seems like based on just the vibe, none of the species they've logged are like intelligent, like technologically advanced species.
Yeah.
Right.
Which I think lends itself to the interpretation of the alien universe is that everything that was intelligent has been wiped out.
Right.
And we're just on our way to being wiped out.
It's a funny character attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it is. It is.
Does Weyland-Yutani know about the Predator at this point?
Whatever his name is, Scott Wayland, lead singer of STP, or whatever whoever Lance Henriksen plays, did know about the Predator in Aliens versus Predator. So somebody in that company probably does. So anyways, yeah, the Marines wake up. There's Marine antics. There's a sergeant and Hudson and Hicks, and they're all Marines.
Penis cannons.
Yeah.
this is a really cool break to the next, like, we have jumped weeks again, but none of this feels jarring.
Yeah.
No, them sleeping tubes. Perfect device.
God, I'd love a tube.
Oh my gosh, they all looked so comfy and like clean, and those pillows were so satiny.
Give
me a
want
space tube.
I want a device that puts me to sleep on my back. That'd be really good for my back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, just put me in a tube, knock me out. That's
Let
all
me
I
sleep
need.
coffin style.
Yes.
I guess we're all pining for death. Yeah, there's a pun in there, I think.
The sweet, the pining for death. Yeah. So after some marine antics, Bishop does the knife trick. That left a big impression on 9-year-old me. That knife thing. I remember kids in the cafeteria doing it with like spoons and stuff afterwards.
Totally.
Yeah.
In Red Dead Redemption, they called it 5-finger fillet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In RDR2, there's a mini game where you have to do that, I think, if I remember.
And the first one.
I haven't played the first one.
It reminds me of like the Deer Hunter.
Yeah.
And I like that the reveal from this is, I thought androids were supposed to be perfect, man. As he's got the milk blood dripping.
He nicked himself. Yeah.
Which
Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
To his benefit, that he's not perfect.
Yeah.
But that was the problem with Ash.
So I think it's very interesting. After watching the first movie, Jude 100% thought that Bishop was going to be evil.
Oh, and it is telegraphed that way. There are so many looks.
Yeah.
Over his shoulder. And Lance Hendrickson is just menacing looking already.
Yeah, he is.
It's not evil, then cold and robotic.
Yeah. He's a dude that I don't want to run into in a bathtub full of ice.
I found it interesting that the scenes when the Marines are waking up, and then the following cafeteria scene were the last scenes filmed on this movie.
Yes, yeah. And
Cameron did it for a reason to show the camaraderie, which they actually created by making the whole movie, and now they're like best buds.
Yeah, exactly.
That's rude.
Yeah. I think this James Cameron fella knows what he's doing.
Yeah, that's a Spielberg type thing. That's where the magic lies. That kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The Goonies were not interesting because of pirates.
Yeah, exactly. So they get a. I mean, the alien movies aren't interesting because of the aliens, which is why the ones that are bad around all the alien stuff can be rough to get through.
Yeah, I mean, Carter Burt is an actual villain.
Yeah,
these aliens just are eating and reproducing.
The aliens.
Yeah, they're just nature.
It's what you do.
Yeah, the aliens are the
It's
environment.
nature,
yeah, they're the mountain. Carter Burke is the antagonist.
There's that fish parasite that like gets in through their gills, removes their tongue, and becomes their tongue.
Yeah, that shit's crazy.
Yeah,
and
the
then
clownfish tongue.
That eats the food that the fish eats. Yeah, it's wild.
Nature's
So
crazy,
the aliens don't have an agenda. The bad guy is always a guy.
Yep. So they get a briefing. Gorman is a greenhorn. He's not respected by the other Marines.
Luckily, Bill Paxton asks.
Yeah.
Like, is this a bug hunt or is it just... Luckily, he asks. I don't know they were going to tell them.
Yeah. I don't think they were going to mention the aliens.
Like, well, look, if somebody asks, we'll tell the truth, but we're not going to.
We're not going to volunteer the info.
Just take your dick cannons and get out there.
Game over, man.
We just came here to test out the quality of their coffee.
Then to hopefully control the markets.
Make sure your guns are loaded.
Yeah, and let's talk about them a little bit.
I just saw the internet's a wild place. I just saw a post the other day about a guy who thought that ground coffee was the same thing as instant coffee and had been just putting spoonfuls of grounds in his cup and mixing it up. And he's like, there's certain brands have a better crunch to them. I was like, buddy.
That's Turkish coffee.
That's
nothing. You get served all the grounds.
Yeah.
I mean, I call that cowboy coffee. You just cook it in a pot.
Yeah, the campfire percolator. There's no way not to get it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But that is funny.
Yeah.
It's like the people are like, I like my chicken rare.
It's like, no, you don't.
No, you don't.
You should not like that.
Your guts disagree.
Yeah. They drop. They're a drop ship. Delivers them to the surface of the moon, where they ride out in their Cybertruck.
Except for the turret in the front, it's exactly a Cybertruck.
Yeah.
I love
that asshole was drunk watching this movie.
The turret that has to slide down over the front of the vehicle so that it's short enough to get through hallway entrances.
Yeah.
The whole car design looks like somebody was like, oh shit, you didn't tell us the sets were only going to be 12 feet tall, not 17. Damn it.
Make it low. That's a headline I saw recently that raccoons en masse are breaking into Cybertrucks because they think they're dumpsters.
Yes.
I don't know the truth.
I love that.
But it wasn't an Onion article. It was like there were people with their scratched Cybertrucks. The little hands were.
Oh, those fucking things.
They just want the lithium. Fucking raccoon.
They just want the lithium.
Just sell it.
Just imagine this raccoon conspiracy to like, if we can only get enough lithium.
Don't they have a conspiracy? If any species of animal,
they're all wearing masks.
It's raccoons
sneaking around at night.
No, the raccoons are the meth heads of the animal world.
Yeah, they really are. They're up at all hours,
stealing.
Using their little hands.
Yeah, stealing. What is it? Everyone's stealing out of cars these days. The catalytic converters. Yeah.
And the wiring in homes.
Yeah.
And the lithium in Cybertruck.
Fucking raccoons. So they I just found out that, so, for years scientists thought that bats use sonar to avoid each other when they flock, but they filmed them recently with high speed film and found out that they don't. They just constantly are colliding with each other. And they're just really dumb.
I love that.
I know.
The flying rats.
Yep.
We gave them too much credit.
Evolution isn't real.
Yeah.
Watch these bats slam into each other while they try to survive.
Over and over again.
Yeah, that was intelligently designed. There was a dry erase board involved.
So, they enter the colony. They find in, I don't know, the science room some face huggers and some tanks.
So many science rooms.
Yeah. They don't find any bodies or colonists.
I think that was the med lab.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, you went to college, so it's a med lab. We didn't, so it's science room.
That's something about when they first arrive on the surface of the moon, and they're all lined up in formation, about to breach the entrance to the station itself on the surface. And there's just a bunch of shit everywhere, mechanical stuff, and there's nobody. That shit's spooky as hell. That is honestly, in retrospect, that's the scariest part of this movie, in the sense that, like, there were dozens of people here at any point of the day, all day.
Yeah. It is scarier than liminal spaces. People think that the liminal space, but it is creepier to be like, that coffee's still warm, kind of like vibe.
That donut has a bite out of it.
Right. This is a well lived in space. And it seems to be empty all of the sudden.
Yeah.
It's not an abandoned mining town, where it's like,
Right.
oh, everybody packed up the mining gear except for the stuff that was too heavy. It's like, no, there's
like the empty cubicles in a big room. Like, ooh,
there's like a paper thing with food in it still,
Yeah,
Yeah.
someone didn't finish their muffin.
Something went down.
Because if something hadn't go down, they would have finished the muffin.
That's right. At least the top.
Yes. So they find a young girl who's been living in the vents. You got to get them out of the vents once they infest the vents.
And they almost
Kids,
kill her.
that is.
And I haven't gone back. I was so tempted to I should watch this in slow motion. I was like, don't ruin any of this movie for yourself watching it in slow motion because it's perfect. But I wonder if they put a face hugger in that shot because her hair is that same brassy, color. It's kind of messy. I wonder if that's her head moving, or if that's another
tidbit.
object behind it, Anyways, that's just me.
Reminded me. I read a tidbit that she was not afraid of the aliens at all, and so that she had to. They told her to imagine something happened. So she imagined being chased by a dog. That was the scariest thing she could think of, because the aliens were not. Which is why lighting and production is so important.
Well,
that little girl was not inherently afraid. Yeah, it's a person in costume, but even you take that away,
But the fact that she's not afraid on set, of the guy in the alien costume, of the face huggers and that kind of thing, just movie magic is incredible.
Yeah, it is.
Right. Like her child imagination couldn't picture herself fearfully running from this thing.
Yeah.
I think Homelander says it to his son, where he's like, "There's so many people here," and he's like, "They're just humans. Would you be afraid of a bunch of roaches?" Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love that response.
Yeah, I've seen Creepshow. 100%.
I personally, Joe's apartment is where I could live with all those roaches.
That's when I learned
bring
about
girls home. Yeah.
It isn't that was the first MTV movie.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Huh?
So weird.
They Ripley manages to catch her in her little nest.
Hug her into submission.
Yeah. I want Sigourney Weaver to hug me into submission just once.
I mean,
oh my gosh, yes.
She has been consistently living a trauma response for more than a month.
Yeah.
Yeah. She doesn't want to watch more people die, but that's all that's going to happen to these people.
100%.
And I don't think I ever thought about it because I don't know that Cameron leans into it, but I like Roger's idea of you don't really know. So far the first living thing you come across, you're just taking for granted that it's human because it's a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is interesting that she could have been infected, just like Bishop could have been evil.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
They head faked us with the two characters that they introduced to us that we would suspect the most.
If all you had was the first movie to base your expectations on, very easy to think the kid may have an alien in her.
Because they could even explain the different gestation periods because now they're in the hive essentially, so you see all the different kinds of ants and bees.
Yeah,
below the queen.
Yeah, exactly. Ripley takes her back to their science room or their med bay
med
or
lab,
med
as it's known in the business.
Yeah.
Their medicine hole.
Like a car hole?
Like a car hole.
Yeah.
Or a lotion hole.
Oh my.
Yeah.
So they find out or Ripley cleans her up, finds out her name's Newt. Then the team locates the colonists, or they get the little bleepy signals that the colonists are underneath the processing station.
How'd she get the nickname Newt?
I don't know.
Rebecca Jordan is her birth name.
Yeah.
From her siblings. Nobody calls me
Yeah.
Rebecca.
Except my brother.
They called her that because she'd stick
Except for
to
my brother.
walls.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's slimy most of the time.
She could lick her eyes.
She's amphibious.
She can lick her eyes.
I mean, she doesn't blink really throughout the movie. She's just that 40-yard stare.
Yeah. So yeah, they head out to the processing station and go underneath where they find a lot of alien stuff on the walls.
This is one of before that is one of the moments Bishop is dissecting one of the face huggers. I say face hugger, and like I kept writing it down, and then I wondered, when did they actually start calling them face huggers? Anyway,
Is
so
it a
he's
Mandela thing?
He's dissecting the hugger and very fascinated by it. And it's just the misleading aspect.
Yeah.
Of,
Anything else
of
that you
how
need, Bishop?
fascinated.
And he just looks over his shoulder at the guy's face, like maybe a human to put this thing on. I don't know.
Right, yeah.
You'd be like someone to be creepy at.
Yeah.
Coming right up.
And underneath the station, they find some opened eggs, dead face huggers, and then some cocooned colonists. They realize that their armor-piercing bullets would make the station explode. So they make the sergeant collect them all. Although, was it Vasquez?
Vasquez
Rebecca Goldstein.
and Drake.
Yeah.
Yeah. The two of them are the baddest motherfuckers.
Yeah, they are.
The swivel guns that are attached to their hips.
Oh, those were so cool.
The penis cannons.
That pose too, as the two of them like in profile together and stepping as one unit.
Yeah.
God, the two of them are so badass in this movie.
Yeah. It made me want to be a Space Marine when I was a kid.
Seriously, this is better propaganda than most actual propaganda. This is better than Marvel propaganda.
Oh yeah, this is better than
James
Top
Cameron.
Gun as far as propaganda goes.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Marines kill an alien right after it bursts out of a colonist's chest, who they found. Then the adult aliens start killing Marines. There's gunfire. Pretty much this is the point where most of the Marines die very quickly.
And the chaos of this, just the yelling, the multiple shots on their cameras. This is so well telegraphed and set up because the suspense is just all done, bam, in that one moment. And there is no hope after that.
Yeah.
There were so many of them, and 3 of those Marines came out alive.
Yeah.
4 if you include Gorman, but he never got out of the truck.
I think there were 12 of them originally.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
But imagine losing the commanding officer with battlefield experience, who Apone is probably not much older than I am in this movie.
Yeah, he's maybe 40.
And he's the oldest one on the planet at this point.
Yeah.
That actor was actually in Vietnam.
Wow.
I think. But yeah, he was. I could be wrong about his location, but he used to be a soldier.
Real Marine. Yeah, and Gorman, just like how many combat drops? 2, including this one. Like, and being left with that guy who just collapsed under any pressure. Oh, and got everybody killed, arguably.
Yeah, absolutely. He was a bad commander. He's not good at this.
Which that's what you want. If you have an evil plan, you want a guy like that. You don't want some seasoned.
Yeah.
You don't want. Yeah, you don't want
somebody
hits
who's like, no,
taking
we're not going into that. You're running them in like Eisenhower standing up to Patton. To bring Eisenhower back. Just like, no, man, I'm sorry.
This is the eternal conflict in the military too, between officers and enlisted men. Is the like, look, I've been doing this shit a lot longer than you've been in the service. Is kind of that vibe, and will probably always be that vibe since before we were, fighting wars with tanks and guns. Educated rich men's sons who become officers.
That's what I was kind of the point I was making with the Halliburton thing about, there are those Marines or those military people who do go up the rank of officer, that's what they're looking to do. And then there are the guys that will always jump out of fucking planes, no matter what.
Yeah.
It's just always what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And when they retire, they go and do it privately.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
well, and an officer doesn't get the years of experience before they're in charge. You're just in charge because you're an officer.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
it's,
they go on that route. It's a
I mean,
different route.
that's honestly something that you see a lot, even in non-military fields.
Oh, management,
you
know,
is
middle
just,
management is the same thing.
Yeah, they weren't on the floor selling the sofas for 10 years like Carl was.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Carl knows what's happening, but still the manager's the one who's telling Carl
Old
what
Gil.
to do. Old Gil.
Yeah.
The wolves are at Old Gil's door.
I have managed people that were more than twice my age, and it was weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's weird. Man, I've come into things where I've had to manage people who I had zero experience in the industry.
Yeah, and they've got institutional knowledge that's decades old.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, not just professionally, but then also like I directed plays when I wasn't even 21 yet. Full on adults.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I mean it's funny because that's kind of what they were like, because James Cameron, he was like not even 30, I think, when he was directing this, and his very seasoned cinematographer was like, you don't know better. So James Cameron had to fire him because he was like, you're not seeing my vision.
That's fascinating.
Right.
Thinking about that because he is the insert character. Gorman is the insert character for James Cameron.
In some ways, but like, yeah. But Gorman does not successfully make aliens. So yeah, Gorman panics. Ripley just drives the car in to rescue them. Let's see, we've got Hicks.
The
Hudson,
music in
and
this scene
Vasquez.
is incredible.
Yeah.
Just it goes from chaos to just like dun, 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 dun. It's an action movie. It was not an action movie as all the Marines are getting smoked. But the moment that Ripley's like, nope, we're driving. Oh.
Yeah, no, this score is kind of, I think, the quintessential 80s action movie score. Like, it is so good. So good. James Horner. I didn't really know James Horner's name until I guess Titanic, maybe. But dude, I mean, what he did, Crawl, Cocoon, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Like, dude was around for a long time.
Yeah, he's like Jerry Goldsmith. You know, they're not as big as John Williams as far as notoriety, but utility score composers just awesome at their jobs.
Oh, he started as a composer for Roger Corman too.
Really?
Yeah. His first film he composed that he did the score for was Lady in Red, and then Humanoids from the Deep and Battle Beyond the Stars.
Roger Corman. Have you watched that DVD yet, Brian? That documentary?
It's sitting on my desk. I literally
I know.
It's on my list of things to get done before school starts.
If nothing else, it talks about the Corman dynasty. Like so much of our childhood was made by people that were taught by that businessman. I mean, he was an artiste, but he was a businessman.
But he's like an industry into himself.
Oh yeah, we wouldn't have the actors or the directors that we grew up loving if it weren't for him.
Yeah,
we'll talk about it when we do Head, My Monkeys.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah.
So all right. So yeah, the three survived. Hudson, Hicks, and Vasquez. Burke wants them to maybe take some aliens back. Might be fine. It could be good. But Hicks, who is now in charge, he's the because Gorman,
Corporal Hicks.
Yeah, Corporal Hicks is now in charge. Says, nope, he agrees with Ripley. We gotta get out of there and nuke the planet from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
I love the delivery of that. It's the only way to be sure. Just that dry fuck you implied in that.
Yeah. So good. So they call the dropship, but it turns out that they had the door open the whole time and an alien got in.
I mean, you know, they had no idea what was happening, I guess.
I guess not. They didn't know that you should keep your door closed when you're on a strange planet.
No one can close your door in space.
The alien kills them. The ship crashes, and the survivors have to go and barricade themselves inside the colony. They do it back in their science hole, medicine hole.
Sounds like a southwestern town name.
Yeah. This is the point where Ripley discovers that Burke ordered the colonists to investigate the alien spaceship. Before she can expose him, Bishop tells the group that the dropship crash damaged the power plant's cooling system, and pretty soon the entire thing's going to explode in a giant nuclear explosion. They're real casual with nukes in this movie.
It was the 80s, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. They're like, Ray Gun Ronnie's going to nuke everything. May as well get used to it.
This is so genius because everybody's like, we got to get the fuck out of here. They're making all the right decisions. And the only way out is destroyed. And a ticking clock has started.
Yep.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
There's so many ways to make this feel fucking contrived. But it just feels like, oh, why'd you leave the door open? Oh, no, what's going to happen? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's sort of like we were talking about patrons. Dr. Detroit will be. But where it seems referential, but no. The references came after this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, you're right. It could have seemed contrived, except like we were saying with the dream in the beginning. That's been done so many more times. But
yeah.
He nailed it.
Absolutely. Bishop gets in a tube and heads on over to the power plant where there's a transmitter.
He refuses the gun.
Yeah. Yeah, that was was so funny because Vasquez hands him the gun and
Vasquez cocks it and
hands it to him. And when she turns and looks away, he just hands it to Ripley. Yeah. Then he's in the tube, shimmying his way through the tube. So that
he cares so much about humans. He took a moment to say, "Watch your fingers," as they're putting the panel back on.
He's such a good guy.
He really is
little
thoughtful.
robot. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like a little Johnny Five.
Johnny Six.
And the fact that he immediately volunteered to go.
Yeah.
I would hope so.
Yeah, he's
Not
the
that he
robot.
wants to.
What are these things designed for again?
Yeah, why do we have robots if not to do the things we don't want to do?
They get offended by what you call them.
Not that he himself wants to, but he knows he's the only one qualified to do it, really.
Yeah.
And survivally. He stands the best chance.
Yeah.
Survivally.
I guess the answer to my question is why else do we have robots? Is, it's the sex bots. That's why they're making robots. Anyways.
And you want one that looks like Lance Henriksen.
Yeah, that's why they all look like Lance Henriksen.
Because they're sex bots.
It's like, so we're starting from scratch. What are you thinking?
Like
Lance Henriksen, circa 86?
I mean, that or Ian Holm. Which way do you want to go?
I want some Koto.
So, then Ripley puts
the Koto bot. Is that what that is?
I was just watching Brian. You got so disgusted after like 2 beats.
It's the eyes. The eyes on that man. I don't need to see that on a robot.
The eyes of Yaphet Kotto. A harmless phosphorescence.
Why does that sound like a song? Yeah, or a play.
Yeah, a song. Yeah,
A mammoth
the
play.
eyes of Yaphet.
Ripley, she goes and she takes a little nap with Newt. Then when they wake up, they find themselves locked into the sleepy room with two facehuggers.
And the gun's outside.
Yep, guns outside.
She put it on the bed.
Mm-hmm.
Never leave your gun outside. That's like gun rule number 1.
Well, no, she put it out. She put it on the bed that she crawled under.
Right.
And
now I know.
And then Paul Reiser came and
in the night
took it out, put it on the desk,
like a little
taunting
man.
her.
When Paul Reiser comes in the night, you don't want to be caught unaware.
He fixes your shoes and hides your gun. He's an early to riser, that's why.
Helen Hunt will tell you.
Yeah, his greatest weakness is having Helen Hunt spit on the back of his head while they share a sink.
That's one of my weaknesses I didn't know about.
Yeah, makes me weak in the knees just thinking about it.
It makes me confused.
Makes
Throws me off my rhythm.
Confused in the knees. So, anyways, they managed to get the. She pulls the fire alarm. The Marines come. They rescue them and kill the facehuggers.
Well, she doesn't pull the fire alarm because she's a smoker, even though we only ever see her holding a cigarette. She has a cigarette lighter and uses that to melt the wax in the
triggers the fire alarm. Yeah.
Triggers the fire alarm.
Yeah. So she accuses, she says Burke did it. He's like, what, me? Paul Reiser? America's favorite dad? He wasn't a dad. I don't know what he was. And Mad About You. Helen Hunt's husband. But just then the power's cut and the aliens attack. They're coming. They're in the room.
They're all around you, Michael.
Apparently, so what's his face? Bill Paxton.
Hudson,
yeah. He didn't. So he had an elaborate backstory where Hudson learned to fight in simulations, and that's why he says "Game over, man, game over," because that was based on the backstory that he came up for himself.
I see.
Cool. It's iconic.
It was that line, the "game over," and the "elevator to hell" line didn't appear in the script.
Yeah.
So those were just Paxton.
Those were
Paxton?
Well, James Cameron did encourage them to improv little things, but apparently Paxton isn't good at improving and didn't like it, so he discussed. That's why he came up with the backstory and stuff, so that he was like, okay, so my character, he's in a simulation, and
he would say this.
And James Cameron apparently at a certain point was like, "This is no longer improving, Bill. You're just planning your lines."
Ad lib.
So the power's cut, the aliens attack. Burke locks himself in a little room and then gets killed.
What do you mean they cut the power?
Yeah.
They're animals.
They're animals.
Mm-hmm.
This is always intense with the motion sensor, and it says they're in the room. They're in the room. There's something we missed, and then poking up into the ceiling crawl space.
Yeah, they missed the drop ceiling. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that shot still gives me nightmares of just looking up. It's like the velociraptors in Jurassic Park, I think, was an homage to that scene too.
Anytime I've been at any work with the drop ceiling and I have to open up a panel for any reason ever, I always think of that scene. And yeah, so let's see. Hudson gets killed, taken, whatever. Hicks.
But he's super like gung ho in his last moments.
Yeah.
He's forgotten all fear at this point.
He's like, fuck you guys. Yeah. They're running through the vents, and then Gorman and Vasquez have to sacrifice themselves. Like there's a point like she runs out of bullets, and then she's just down to her pistol, and then all she has left is the grenade, and she's injured.
I love that Gorman gets redeemed by going down with Vasquez.
Yeah. And the toughest Marine finally respects him.
And yeah, it's just one of those like little arcs that just makes perfect sense.
Yeah. You always were an asshole, Gorman.
You always were an asshole. What a fucking last thing to hear too. Like the respect from her was probably all he ever needed.
Yep. And that, So then they die. Then Ripley gets separated from Newt. They're trying to get her out, but then an alien snatches her.
Unlucky, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
The chute that she slides down. I read a tidbit that Carrie, the actress, she kept intentionally blowing that scene so she could keep sliding down the chute because she loved it so much. But then James Cameron said, "Okay, if you get it on this next take, you can play on the chute as much as you want."
Boom.
Nice.
And she
Child
nailed
actors, man.
Yep.
So unprofessional.
I love. Andy was like, "It looks like a slimy McDonald's play place," and I'm like, "So a McDonald's play place?"
I had to take
slimy.
I had to take Jude to do the SATs yesterday. And it had to go to Nogales. There's a Carl's Jr. with a play place there, and I was like, a Carl's Jr. play place because the McDonald's play place was too nice.
Yeah, it wasn't really trouble.
Hicks gets injured. They get back to the drop ship with Bishop, but she's not going to abandon Newt. So this is the point where Ripley gets badass, and she when she's taping the guns together, mounting up,
pocket full of flares.
Taping a machine gun to a fucking flamethrower is the coolest thing ever.
That's the most 1986 thing I can think of.
If only it had a compass in the stock or something. Like the Rambo knife.
Something that I never noticed about this scene, and just because it kind of just happens, she's loading up, right? She's putting grenades in her pockets. She's got the flares in her pockets. She's taping the guns together. I never caught that she stuffs her pockets full of grenades, and the moment she gets in the elevator, she was planning on like, well, I'll have a couple of seconds so I can load this thing up with grenades. Not a moment is wasted by Ripley. Mind is focused on the timer and the girl
the timer.
and getting back to the ship. She is singularly focused, and it's fucking incredible. Until, of course, she gets to the queen.
Yeah. I remember at the time, people I don't know if it was in the press, on TV or what, but I remember her being referred to as Rambolina because of this role.
No spoilers for Alien Romulus. We'll get there. But this scene, Kaylee Spaney literally watched her face, I guess, over and over and over and over again to get the same kind of Rambo, just completely not. She's like having an out-of-body experience while firing a machine gun. But captured that same reaction of just like dead inside so well.
So she finds Newt and then finds the queen and starts just fire hosing all the eggs, pissing the queen off.
This moment is interesting because you see the queen sort of like shoo away the little drone aliens because they're all like waiting in all the doorways.
Because first Ripley just threatens the eggs and then tries to back out of the room. And then one of the eggs next to her opens, and Ripley has this sly look at the queen, like, "Oh, you're trying,
you're trying me."
And
just
she is communicating.
Her and the queen are in conversation at this moment. Yeah.
It's very much what's the Top Gun? We were communicating. Gave her the bird.
That's what gives a little more impact to her bitch line later.
Yes.
A little more personal.
The egg opening is a betrayal. Because I thought you were going to let us go if I didn't fuck your shit up.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yeah. So yeah,
just two moms, fighting at the playground over their kids.
Pulling each other's hair extensions out. So she just starts fucking shit up, shooting
flamethrower,
explosive
bullets. She tosses. She shoots a bunch of grenades into the egg laying mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's twice the size of the queen itself. Tosses her grenade belt into the fire. It's intense.
Yep. And then,
she's fucking Rambo in that moment.
Absolutely, 100%.
Clay pots of boiling honey and a catapult.
Boiling honey. So they make it into the elevator. They get up to the platform, and Bishop's gone. Then, everything's exploding. They think they're going to die. Bishop comes up, saves them.
The queen detaching herself from the egg butt.
So gross.
And then figuring out the second elevator.
Yes. Yeah.
Moms.
I do love the elevator door opening and her looking at it.
Yep.
Brilliant editing.
They have no technological skill, but she figures out the elevator.
Yeah.
Well, and they did manage to
and the power grid. Yeah.
And
they knew that there was a drop ship on the planet that they then snuck up on. So they're tactically fucking savvy.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got some sort of weird hive intelligence.
Well, and at no point when they were all in the, what did you call it? The medicine hole? The aliens don't try the door.
Yeah.
At no point are they like, we'll just throw ourselves at the door.
They never knock at the door
Well, and as creatures that have acid blood, they can use the acid blood to get through things. We see that in later movies, Resurrection or whatever.
And in nature.
But yeah, they're just, they're biding their time. They're fucking tactically terrifying.
Just like Jehovah's
Well, they're
Witnesses.
They're like the Borg or bees or ants. They'll just keep expanding the hive. That's all they're interested in, really.
Mm-hmm.
If you get in the way, they'll fuck you up.
Yeah, absolutely. My apologies to any Jehovah's Witnesses listeners we have.
They're not.
They're not. We don't have any.
They're not listening to any podcast.
Yeah, all I have to say is birthdays are awesome and worth it. You can leave too.
They really are. Birthdays are the best, guys. Yes, they escape on the dropship. They make it back to the big ship as the moon explodes, basically.
And the music is lulling us into ba, 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 ba. It's the same theme that they played at the very beginning of the movie. It's the alien at peace theme.
Yeah. Yeah. Sleepy time alien.
Everything is fine.
This is fine.
Chamomile. Yes. And then suddenly the alien jumps out and just tears Bishop, or first impales Bishop and then tears him in half.
That shot, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Feels like it's in slow motion.
Yeah.
But it's
And
not.
how much
It's one of those like
Lance Henriksen had to have in his mouth.
Sigourney Weaver has it come. You can tell she's got it coming in her mouth, and she's like, "Shit away from me."
Yeah, it's just milk. It doesn't look like it was special effected much more than that.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe it had some Elmer's glue for some shininess, but
yeah.
He just had to keep filling his mouth with milk. Action.
It all happens so slow until we step back. We get the shot that's further away, where it's just the rigged dummy of Lance Hendrickson that the alien just tears in 2 pieces and go flying in both directions.
Yeah, it's awesome.
For practical shit, man, they really knew how to ramp it up and make it seem just uncanny, jarring, freaky. So good.
Yeah. No, absolutely. This looks great. It still looks great. So Newt hides. Ripley makes it into another room. Aliens going after Newt. And then the door opens and Ripley's in the loader. And we get the line. I still remember this line in the theater. Because the audience lost its mind.
Yeah.
I cheer every time. Like, I can't help but be like, yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah, the get away from her, you bitch. Apparently, they did 1 take of that. That's it.
Wow.
Nice. Sigourney's like, I'm not getting back in this thing.
Also, for practical shit, that thing, I believe it.
It looks so good, that loader.
It's so good.
It looks...
Those became used, so I don't know if they, because again, Cameron loves his military type, shit. So, but those then went on to be used in, they were some of the first robots people were afraid were going to take jobs away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it looks great. So apparently it was just cardboard and foam, the loaders.
Wow.
And they were so big and cumbersome that they had to have a dude in back puppeteering it along with Sigourney in it.
Yeah. He's in the back of the suit. I love that shot. Have you guys seen the picture of it? It's fucking cool. Because you would never guess, obviously.
Yeah, it looks so good. It's the Alien Queen was a big animatronic thing, and so apparently it was very dangerous, her fighting it, because it just did a lot of movements on its own and had to be very carefully choreographed.
And it's sharp and pointy.
Yeah, and it's got that big tail that can rip Lance Hendrickson in half.
You're working with a robot crocodile.
Yeah.
The whip tail into the cockpit of the load lifter thing.
Yeah, that's
some of the coolest sound. So I was complaining about the sound of the face huggers, but that it sounds big, it sounds metallic, it sounds like it is puncturing holes in a 1/4 inch of steel.
Right, and when it hits that metal sound, the little chunks it's taken off, like yeah, so good. She ends up being able to throw it into an airlock, and it gets blown out of the airlock, just like in the first movie. Although we will come to find, perhaps not completely lost.
Yeah. What?
So then, they are able to put half a bishop into a sleepy tube.
Why does he need this thing?
Newt
Play him on the floor.
After she closes the airlock, Newt calls her mommy.
Yeah.
And everything is right in the Alien universe.
Yeah, she's like, you can finally dream. You can dream. now.
Yeah. Everything's fine. The next movie will also be fine. It won't be.
We're going to wrap this shit up real soon. Don't worry.
Yeah, it won't be 2.5 hours of Charles S. Dutton making you sad. Anyways, they go to hypersleep.
Wow.
And roll credits. Yeah, Charles, there. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Rock.
Remember when they did live shows every week for a while?
Yeah.
Anyways, Rock was interesting. That's the movie, Aliens. It's good.
Is it better than the first one?
I personally prefer it, but that I think may be a lot of my nostalgia.
I feel like they're so different. I feel like one is definitely a Ridley Scott movie, and this is definitely a James Cameron movie. I think they're both top examples of both of those men's.
Yeah, it's hard for me to say one's better than the other. They're like Josh said, they're so different, but they're both kind of the best version of the thing they are.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was.
besides Star Wars, is there another series that has directors that are not the first director that have done as well in the sequel, if not following sequels? But like Star Wars has Empire as an incredible director for the second one, but I mean, like, I can't think of anything else. Terminator.
I mean, Terminator,
really.
He did the first two, and all the ones after that sucked.
Yeah, exactly. He did the first two, so it doesn't really fit that mold.
I'm trying to think of like where there's a different director on that's the caveat. I can't think of one because both Ridley Scott and James Cameron put their stamp on the movies to such a degree.
Yeah. I can't think of any other example. Blade Runner, maybe, with Denis doing
that's an interesting
follow-up.
one. Yeah. But I mean, those are so far apart.
Yeah, but it barely counts.
I wouldn't say that it's. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't.
Anyways,
I can't.
Something to think about as we go into the superior Alien movies later on.
Yeah, it's so funny that like
how many are in this?
So there's going to be 6 altogether that we do.
Okay. All right.
7 counting the first one, which we did a while back, which is reposted on the feed. But yeah, we've got 5 more. But it's going to be broken up a bit by some stuff coming.
No, I was just curious, like, because I can't keep track of what would be on the official.
Yeah. So there's 7 because we're not doing any of the Predator
versus.
The versus. But yeah, it's damn good movie.
Hang on. Sorry. I probably knew about it and forgot, but the Reebok product placement surprised me.
That shoe.
They made those shoes explicitly for this movie.
They were cool fucking shoes.
They were cool shoes, but Reebok was told to make them
and
strapless
one is just
or
floating in
laceless,
space.
so that the shoe could come off easily at the end. 'Cause that's how the Queen lost its grip, because the shoe came off.
Man, what am I doing? Tying shoes. This is 40 years later. I should have stuck with Velcro all along.
Yeah, seriously.
I know.
We did not take advantage of that technology as a culture.
Slip-on shoes. Well, they were wiped out in all those Chihuahua raids. Oh wait, that was off air.
That was off air. The Chihuahua Wars of the 2100s.
You too could eat Chihuahua, folks.
I give it 2 thumbs up. Fuck Gene Siskel.
Yeah. I assume we're all doing thumbs up. I'd go around, but I think that's pretty much a given at this point.
Thumbs up.
Way up.
Yeah. No, I love
it.
Movie.
It holds up. It's my memory of this movie is not tainted in any way.
It's funny because my memory of it, I watched it on VHS so much, my memory of it is being very grainy and blurry. Watching it in like 4K was fabulous. It looks so good.
Yeah, seeing it remastered is crazy.
I'm mad at HBO Max because that was the first place I went to, and they've tried to make me watch commercials. Like I saw the little
during
breaks.
the movie.
Yeah, during the movie. I saw the little breaks in the timeline bar and like zoomed over to one, and a commercial popped up in the first 20 minutes. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm going to Disney.
They're all on Disney,
Yeah.
or Hulu. So.
Yeah. So all right, Aliens. 4 thumbs up, and that's it for that this week. Next week we will be doing Alien 3, Alien Cubed, our first David Fincher movie.
Yeah,
I
love this movie so much.
It's a David Fincher movie. It was his first film, so it's anyways. It'll be interesting. That is next week on Harmless Phosphorescence. Until then, thanks for hanging out with all of us. This has been your host, Thoreau Smiley, and I also mostly come at night. Mostly.
Sometimes the afternoon if I'm alone. I'm Josh Cece, and I'm going to go practice my penis cannon choreography.
I'm Brian Lesh, and I do this podcast, but don't let that fool you. I'm an okay guy.
How do I get out of this chicken shit outfit? I'm Alaric Weber.
That was a Dear Diary entry.
Yeah. You're never getting out, Al.
You're never.
We'll see you next time, everyone. Bye.
Bye.